Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Cutlery. This is my Jkoo Wakizashi, compliments of my dear friend Joe Samurai from Steel, Forged, and Fire, Blade, and Knife. Uh, we are going to be doing a little demonstration with this puppy today. She is beautiful. But first things first, am I hanging off the scab?
22 veterans a day in this country take their own lives. Vets, we love you. You have a place here. We'll put some links in the description below to some folks who can help you. We back to blue over here. We support Leo. How do we do that, Megatron?
We don't break the damn law.
And finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting.
So, obviously, since I'm involved, we're always going to do a shout out for all cancer patients, families, and caregivers of cancer patients. I am here for you no matter what. And there are so many resources available to all of you that if you ever need help finding, please don't hesitate to reach out. But main thing today is pro tip of the day. If anyone ever discloses a diagnosis of cancer to you, the number one thing, just listen. Just be there for them. That's the most important thing they need. Scab.
That is very important. We've all been impacted by cancer. Let me say this. This is a Jkoo Sino Sword, T10 Steel, differentially hardened. It was given to her, given to Megatron by Joe Samurai, like she said. And we'll put a link to Joe's channel. Love that guy. He's my brother from another mother. He's my partner on Blade Talk, Steel, Forged, and Fire, Sword, and Knife. So, we just went and showed you a couple sharp things there with the paper. Old Scab did a little chopping in the house. And then I'm going to turn it, look at that, son, twainage. And then we're going to turn it over to Megatron. Now, here's me making a stick. I don't know how the hell it's in there. But, there I am doing it. Probably killing time, waiting on Megan. She was in there farting around. Now,
What?
here's what we're going to do. This thing was designed perfectly for Megatron. And I think what you're going to see in this video is just like each video, we've gone step by step, gotten better with each step. Megatron, tell us the difference with this video. Actually, just tell us the comfort level you have with this sword.
Well, as he said, I cannot stress enough how grateful I am to Joe, and he called it 100%. This walkie feels like it was built specifically for me. I was a little apprehensive up front and a little timid, but the more I used this blade, the more comfortable and the more I really understood that feeling of a blade just being an extension of yourself, and really just, look at that. I've never done anything like that before, getting so many chops on one bottle. It was night and day. I absolutely adore this thing.
Also, you can see not only has she improved with the cutting and the angles, she's beginning to bring more power with it. And that's something we worked on each time. Now, she can take some of the smallest nicks out of bottles I've ever seen, but you noticed on each one, right there, perfect. That's awesome. If you go back from the first video we did to now, the improvement is incredible. And what we decided to do too is put a little movement, get a little thing going here where it's not just standing static cut. She does some, but we tried to move forward with each one. Now,
that backswing kills me.
The backswing's a little, but let me say this too. We want to have as much respect for the walkie as we can. And this is a learning process. She's learning and getting better every video. Now, this is a rolled up yoga mat. There comes the help in to move the shit away. And right here, now I want y'all to watch the drive she gets on this. This is a yoga mat, and it is a tough cutting medium. It really is.
Whew. A little swing and a miss there, but then I picked right back up and got right in there.
Now, you feel more comfortable. Obviously, that's obvious with swinging hard.
Hands down.
Talk to us about moving through the different mediums, because we had a yoga mat, we've had bottles, and in a minute you're going to cut some rope. Did you apply the same force?
Well, one thing that I will say, I'd been given some advice from Joe to kind of focus on using my hips more instead of just my arms, and I was really working on, doing that in practice and not just thinking about it and kind of bouncing into every single cut. I unfortunately bounce when I walk, so I bounce into everything I do. But I really feel like with each medium, I was able to kind of figure out, whoopsie, a way to kind of apply that little extra oomph of force without, I guess cutting my own leg off. Put it that way.
I also noticed through this thing, and we talked about just right here, you stopped. Now, this is not a giant pool noodle. This is some kind of yoga thing. It's huge, it's stiff, it's very dense. But I noticed too, you took more time, you set up, you didn't get frustrated, took a breath, and when you did that, you had some really good cuts. This thing right here, guys, is insanely difficult to cut. I'll probably get another one because, that's what we do around here. We ain't gonna let it whip us. But right here, I think this is where we move. No, here in a minute, we'll move to the rope. And that's really where you can tell the improvement came. Now, right there, you took the top off.
I think just slowing down and really planning each movement made a huge difference for me. Just slow down, focus.
And it added to the safety factor. Through the whole thing, we've stressed safety. Joe and I talked about it on Blade Talk. Megatron and I, we mess around, we have a good time making the videos, and they're a lot of fun. Now, this is some of the more impressive cuts that you did. Talk to us right here. Were you nervous?
I was absolutely a little nervous with this one. I didn't know how this was going to go. Was it going to be a total swing and a miss? Was I going to end up with my walkie stuck in this hose on a string attached to a tree? But it went a little bit better than I anticipated, clearly.
And you'll see the excitement there, the shock that she did it. Now, what we did was that's that old nylon ski rope. We took that, we added a old water hose to it to give it a little density, and for a little target practice too. Now, we decided to do a little moving around, keep moving. That way too, we didn't have as much bounce. I think that was, there you go. And again, you've got a lot more power going here, moving the hips, and I think as we go, in the next couple weeks, we'll get some fruit on the next one. But now, the two bottles, we wanted her to cut the rope, move forward, and then move back. So let's see how she did. And we had to make sure we got the damn rope the right height.
Yes, because it could be too high or too low. All about aim.
But each time, again, it's a learning process, and she sets up the same way each time, takes her time each time, and really, really, really is starting to drive, which I didn't notice when we were out there, but you really are starting to drive more with your hips. I know you just said it, but I'm saying you can really see it here, and really, as the video's gone, your swings have gotten stronger.
I think each time just kind of... each attempt taking a moment to really set my legs and set my hips. And I got a big old booty, I know that, so use that power, let that booty do the work for me.
Well, thank you for that. There we go. And that's the truth.
It's the truth.
But here's the other side too. Again, with the focus right there, we set up a double cut, come back right here. Now, what I'd ask her to do on these, we kind of set them up as we go. I didn't want her just to keep swinging. I wanted her to move forward and then move backwards, get a little more practice in, and that's what we're trying to do. The next one, we'll get some fruit in a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
And again, you'll see a dramatic improvement. And that's what we're going to show you all the good, all the bad. We try to keep everything as much as we can.
I don't know what happened.
That one there was a little misfire. It's all right. It's all right. It happens. But I want you to see all of it. Again, if we just leave the good in, you're missing the point. There were some struggles, but they were very, very few. Very few. And I'd say it took us, about hour and a half?
Yeah, probably about that.
To get this. We took our time. We didn't rush anything. And again, I didn't want her cutting 1-2. I just wanted a little movement in it. She took the cap off.
Which seems to be my specialty, apparently.
That's something that we'll show. Now, when you're swinging, I wanted to ask you this: do you put an aiming point?
Really, I try to aim as high as possible so that way I can continue to swing afterwards, which clearly is paying off with the whole hitting the bottle cap repeatedly.
Yeah, exactly. And there you go.
There
There's the cap. That was the thing. So, and hell, as long as you're making contact, there you go by laughing, you're doing good. But the thing is, guys, when you're doing this, and one of the reasons I'm doing this on this channel, Megatron and I have always gotten by and gotten along. And I want to encourage you guys out there that are couples, get out there and have some fun together, where it's doing this, taking a walk, whatever. Just enjoy yourself. Now, that was my video response. Looking good there, Scab, the old hitting bomb, son. That was my video response to Eric Hussein. Got a little twainage going there. Now, the last couple minutes of the video, Megatron, talk us through for about 30-40 seconds of what you do to maintain your blade.
So, as I was instructed by Joe, just make sure after every cutting session that I wipe it down with rubbing alcohol. Allow that rubbing alcohol to dry, and then use some mineral oil or some other oils were suggested, but I have mineral oil on hand. Here I'm just wiping it down very carefully to ensure that I'm always going away from the blade, not to cut myself and take a finger off. That's just rubbing alcohol. Now it's time for a glove switch because they were saturated with rubbing alcohol and you don't want to contaminate anything going forward. Also time for my blade to dry. So, new gloves and onto the mineral oil to make sure that she is safe to be kept going forward. And of course looking off and probably talking trash to Scab. So, onto the mineral oil. There it is. So just again, same technique. I pre-saturated a cloth with mineral oil so I could very easily wipe the blade down in strokes going away from the blade, ensuring every part of it is saturated, covered, coated evenly, and also not cutting my finger off mainly.
Excellent job. What we're going to try to do when we do these cutting with Megatrons is show you a little blade maintenance, show the moving forward, the progression of her cutting, and have a good time. Now, at this point, I'm going to step in because we got about 35 seconds. Guys, listen, we love y'all. We love this community. Thank you so much to everyone who's not only made me, but made Megatron feel welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you to you guys. My boy Mikey says it best. He says, Scab, never give up, never surrender, and everything will be okay. I'm Scab.
I'm Megatron.
And you're not. And we're gone, son. Get D-Bad to 10,000.